for District 76 Board of Education meeting is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Here.
Cagle. Here. Catherine Reagan. Here. Val Reagan.
Here.
Tyler.
Here.
Griner. Here. Bailey.
Here. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to everyone here tonight. Are there any comments from the audience on action items on the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Need a motion regarding the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the regular meeting dated February 27th, 2018, and special meeting minutes dated March 8th, 2018.
Second.
On your table is the corrected minutes.
Okay.
It was just actually one motion was accidentally duplicated. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Aye.
Cagle. Aye. Catherine Reagan. Abstain. Val Reagan. Aye. Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding the payments list.
Make a motion to approve the payments list dated March 8th, 2018, and March 15th, 2018.
Second.
Questions?
The only question I have is,
Check number?
it's not really a check number. It's about the phones. They're kind of expensive, like $1,000. Are we looking into that? $1,222. It says district phone. It's 2026718.
What page? Sorry.
First one.
First page.
AT&T.
I mean, I just don't know what we can do.
We still have a contract for one more year with AT&T. And Mr. Wendelin is already looking into getting something else.
Okay, because it doesn't include internet or anything, because that's
Right.
something. This is just
Absolutely.
phones.
Yep.
We could almost pay for everyone to have a cell phone for this cost.
Almost.
I got an email from Gardner Grade School. They had people hack into their phones.
Oh, that's what you had said.
And $8,000. They have to pay it. They said calls going outside the country and stuff like that.
Did they have cell phones? Long distance?
Digital probably. That's one thing about, they probably couldn't get into our antiquated system.
That's
That is
true.
one advantage, you know?
So, but we are looking, I know Jay's,
He's working on
I don't want an $8,000 bill either.
it. I know, right, you couldn't. Any other questions? What else do you have, Mark?
Can I ask who the unemployment claim is? Or should I do an executive session?
Executive session.
Executive session. I think, I was looking at the heating, it's pretty good, but you're right, LaSalle is almost twice as much as Parkview. And I know we had a teachers, labor meeting, and they had that was one of the issues that they had brought up, that the heating and cooling system is not always the same throughout the building, so maybe that's something we need to look at.
Probably so. Because you'd think Parkview would be more with the extra activities going on at night. But
Well, the electricity was about the same, but the heating was like double. And I know it's second
that
story and all
also
that other stuff, but I think there's stuff going out the windows.
you're saying Parkview's less, right?
Right. Like almost half.
LaSalle's a little bigger, I think 44,000 square feet versus 42. It's about the same.
Oh, is it? Because
Same
Parkview
size.
gas was 1,130 and LaSalle's was 1,838.
The two-story makes a difference too.
Right.
I know years ago, at all the schools, the heating people would come in and there's valves all over the place. And it seems like we were constantly replacing different valves and things like that, and that's what took care of the issues of level flow, because it messed with the steam or whatever, and they had to make sure that the transition and everything else, it wasn't cooling properly. So it was a deal with the valves.
Okay, that was.
And parts of the building was just too hot because of it. They fixed the valve, that took care of it.
I don't think these people, as often as we have them come out, We should be
We
looking
have
at
a
that.
contract with
If there's a
someone
test.
taken out.
DMI.
Yeah.
We were still doing that a few years ago, I know what he's talking about, it seemed like they were constantly replacing them, but I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen bills on
Yeah,
there.
they're here.
Not lately.
We were wondering if we just had a contract, if they just took
They
care of
have
it,
a
or-
contract and they take care of, most times they come out
So
with
that's
a
why we're not
recharge.
seeing it individually now.
We've got
Okay.
boiler, we've got a bill for the boilers in here.
It seems like they come
I see
out
that.
more on LaSalle than they do Parkview, and at LaSalle a little more.
Oh, we do, boiler repairs, $150, 738. I mean, yeah, 150.
What they do in there.
DM.
Page 4, and it's, check number 20E002,
It's DM.
halfway down.
Mhm. So they've been,
They've
been in the
repairing
buildings.
quite a bit, it looks, oh, they've had
Mhm.
quite a few. They did Parkview too, it says.
but if it's not right, then you need to come back out.
We're about, hopefully getting ready to,
Cool
Not
down
happy.
or warm up.
Mhm.
we're sure, so.
Oh,
Any other questions? Mrs. Reagan, do you have any other?
No, no, thank you.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Aye.
Gable. Aye. Catherine Reagan. Aye. Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler. Aye. Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding the treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report dated February 28th, 2018.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Aye.
Gable. Catherine Reagan. Aye. Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding LaSalle activity report.
Make a motion to approve the February LaSalle School Activity Fund Report.
Second.
Questions? Comments? Things up to date? Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Aye.
Gable. Aye. Catherine Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan. Aye. Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Motion carried. Need a motion for the Parkview activity report.
I make a motion to approve the February Parkview School Activity Fund Report.
Second.
Questions? Comments? Very good. Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Aye.
Gable. Aye. Catherine Reagan. Aye. Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding the locker room remodel.
Okay.
You want to discuss first?
Yeah, because
Okay.
the amount is like huge and depending on what we do.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Sorry.
Okay, Mr. Liston, you wanna, since you put them, since
Put
you
'em
gave
in
us
there.
all three? Right there, isn't it?
Yeah, but that,
Okay.
look in the book,
Okay.
same thing you got. Six.
I will have
Okay.
to say, this is the first time I've ever received anything like this from an architect. It's very, very basic.
I think Steve and I were talking about this today. Now, these are, one thing about Jim hauling back on this,
Mm-hmm.
these are not what the price is, this is what he's predicting. He has to go out and get
We
bids.
have to get bids, right.
So these are guessing, guessing, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but
an
these are
That's,
estimates, and he said, you know, he always says he shoots high. So, actually, if we, tonight, I think we just need to look at giving him the okay just to go get bids. We can always say yes or no.
But he has to know what to put in those bid specs. And the board needs to decide that as far as, and there's no detail here.
We can get a bid, I guess maybe on everything, and just see how it comes in. You know, the three I gave you, you know, the second one I had crossed out some things, demo, and that's a one of the questions I had for Jim was, what is included in the demo? You know, we know it's gonna be taking the locker rooms, it's gonna be taking the lockers out, it's gonna be taking, all the water stuff out, the urinals and that, taking that out, just basically stripping it down to a box. We have to decide, do we want, I think it's gonna cost us more to move the water down into the shower room. That 11,500 each room is what that's gonna cost, so 23,000 for that.
In each room, why would we move water to the other room?
In both girls.
Moving them both to the shower
Yeah,
room.
so both the shower room.
Do they need showers?
I thought the girls was.
They're moving the
bathrooms same.
toilets and stuff into the shower.
Shower.
room.
What's your idea to move them back to the back of
For the
the
boys.
boys?
But the girls
Okay.
could stay the same, I mean, they have 2 stalls in there.
No,
don't they?
There's only
One?
one.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's a Cadillac, that's doing it
right.
doing it
But
right,
the boys
right?
kind of need it.
We even talked about if we really wanted to get cheap, we could just make a box. Not, you know, there is restrooms fairly close by,
There'd be a changing room at that point.
and that's an option. And if anybody wants to jump in on that, Steve, you might jump in, but that is an option. I think if we move the water to the showers, that's gonna be about half the bill. That's gonna be around, but these are predictions.
Well, because they
Estimates.
also included abating the floor, which at some point is gonna have to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So if this board doesn't do it, some future board's gonna have to.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree too.
But we don't know what kind of floor.
Right, we don't have,
Normally, we get at least that much information, you know, because
Before
it
he even
makes
puts it
a,
out.
yeah, it makes a
Yeah.
difference. What kind of floor do
what's
we
he gonna
want?
tell them we want?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We could
So they
put
have the
tile
floor
over
in
it.
here, right? Some
Yeah, the
floor
floor is here.
Mhm.
but we don't know what kind. And then they have abating the floor, so let's
Mhm.
say if we did that, that's,
It's 8,400 just to abate it, but that's,
That'll have to be done
Yeah.
eventually.
See, the architect did read the bids. He can't just throw something out like this. He's gonna have,
he's gonna have to give them
Specifics.
detail, right?
Exactly. And
So
What
why
we
don't we
want.
have that?
and water all right.
What do we want for floors? I mean, that's what we start asking.
so if we don't put plumbing in there, if we went
Mhm.
with just lockers, abating the floor, electrical,
That's number 3 over here, turn the page, Cindy. And it goes down to
Yeah.
49,000.
And that's
down
if-
there, the flooring, the doors, the paint, and using the lockers, electrical. We don't need that walls open, right? No, I don't know what that is.
It was optional on their wall
Yeah.
opening.
Yeah. And I
to make
didn't-
it bigger. More open area.
Uh-oh.
I think new lockers are, to me, that's not optional. I think the old lockers are.
Mr. Johnson, can
Uh-huh.
you shed any light on this?
Well, the questions, well, first off, I think the first time we had talked about updating the locker rooms, there was some discussion about relocating the toilet, the sinks back to the back of the shower. And we were looking at the plumbing cost and then the moving the plumbing cost, and at first, we had thought that maybe there was a mistake there. It seemed like that those costs were, in our opinions, were excessive.
Mhm.
So we did talk to Jim Hollenbach about that, and what Jim said was, as Mr. Whiston mentioned, first off, these are estimates.
Right.
And until they get the bids in, and then you would review those bids and make any changes that you want to make in those, we're not going to know a definitive cost. But what he did say is due to that, being inside the locker room, those are relatively small locker rooms, to relocate the plumbing, that's going to be somewhat labor intensive. They can't bring in a mini excavator or anything like that. They're probably going to have to bring in a jackhammer, and then they may even have to hand trench part of it back, and that's where the cost, in Jim's opinion, is going to come in. It is somewhat labor intensive. The flooring, now earlier on, when we first started talking about this, I don't think that there was a whole lot of discussion about abating the floor, but again, if we move the plumbing, we have to abate the floor. but not abating the floor. I think Jim had mentioned they were gonna put a vinyl composite over the existing floor, but with abating it, you can put down, I mean, whatever you would, I would think that what Jim would do is he would present some information, he would present some options to you and some different types of numbers, you know, if you will allow the bids to come in. All that Jim was asking tonight was some direction to go ahead and start asking some contractors to bid on it, and then those are gonna come back to you come back to Mr. Weston, you as the board, to review and modify anything that you would like to. But again, if for the summertime, if you want it done this summer, you don't have to, but if you do, he is asking to be able to bid those out, so that you can start looking at the results of the bids, and then tweaking those if you desire to tweak.
Okay, so the second one is what you feel our staff could do to cut the cost.
And even, you can look as far as, I did not cross off the doors. The door basically gets propped open, and that's where it stays, because there's a wall
Partition.
as you come, a partition as you come in. We don't have to do the doors, but I did not cross them off, but that's their locker room doors.
Well, if you went with the final, the last one, so if they're not going to,
And we'll abate it, you mean?
yeah, and if we threw in the abatement, so if we did the demo, the flooring, the doors, the paint, we're not gonna reuse lockers, get new lockers, do the electrical. You're not gonna do the wall opening, you did the new lockers,
So you take
no
the
benches,
reused lockers off,
Yeah,
basically.
and the wall.
and the wall.
Okay, so the wall opening, we're talking about where the showers,
Showers.
right?
So that would be basically 40 grand, and then you would still be doing the abatement, and just having.
No.
I wouldn't do the
No.
abatement unless you're gonna do the plumbing.
You don't need the
Right.
abatement.
I mean,
then.
the plumbing and the abatement would hand in
That'd be
hand.
under
I
40,
mean,
that would be under 40 grand if we just made them into changing rooms, both for boys and girls.
I'd kind of rather make them into have bathrooms. I mean,
Do it right.
yeah, if we're gonna spend
What do other
40,000.
schools have? Do they have changing rooms or do they have locker rooms?
I don't know.
We're all
Well,
looking
the-
at Catherine.
Oh, like East Peoria High School has, I think we have bathrooms, yeah. When they redid the locker rooms, there were bathrooms.
Mr. Johnson?
It would be very nice to have a toilet, to have a sink, and the reason I say that is for the evening events that we have, so that the visiting team, they come in, they have a place to use the restroom, they can wash their hands, and they're not leaving the changing room or the locker room to,
They're not running across the hall,
Right,
one at a
to help
time,
them-
trying to use the
right.
restroom.
right,
Wandering the halls.
right.
Yeah.
Which could happen with, our students too. Yeah, like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, but then,
They're constantly across the hall.
And I don't want them using that one single bathroom that,
And that's what they'll be using.
like, no, there's that
Well,
other set by the doors.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
those
the
would be
boys,
okay.
so.
Close to the girls.
Oh.
Boys
Yeah.
a little bit.
there's just that one single
Right,
bathroom.
that's what they'll be running over
It's a
to.
handicap bathroom.
Okay, the handicap bathroom, yeah.
But it'd be nice for the team not have to stand in line for the restrooms.
Right.
So they can get into the restroom, use it real quick and get with the coach,
And have some privacy.
instead of being
Right.
tied up with the public, standing in line.
Right.
And the coach has a better control. I do it right. That's where I
That's a- yeah.
stand.
I'm real bad
That's a
about
good
that,
point,
though.
Randy.
Either do it right or don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I don't think that at this point we can really afford to have all the plumbing moved like we had talked about, that's crazy.
And I'm gonna guess, just guessing, this figure is gonna climb.
Probably.
On everything we have ever done, it always ends up going higher.
Should we?
Maybe he's overestimated.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 2
Number 2
is
is
with
good.
with the plumbing but not moving it, is that?
Number 2 is, we're leasing things out that you could do, right?
That we can do ourselves.
What would happen if we just left the plumbing where it was?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But then this, you can't put the bathrooms in there. It
Right,
would just be a box.
yeah, which,
I think there's still a cost to the cost would be, as they have proposed, would be 19.5.
Yeah, we're still leaving.
If you
Almost the
update
same.
what is
That's
currently
right.
in there.
But you cross off the 23 at
But
the
you could,
bottom.
right, you could cross off the 23 for relocating.
Alternate
Right.
5.
Right. But it's not giving them any more room that way.
Mm-mm.
And it's-
And you're talking a difference of 9,000?
Maybe putting lockers in
Then do it
in the
right, then
shower
not doing
area.
I'm sorry, what?
Maybe putting a set of lockers in the shower area.
It's hard to get in there, you'd have to lift the walls still then.
Then
because
you've gotta
the
open the
wall
walls
is-
up.
Yeah, if you do that.
Well, we save money by not opening the walls,
Right.
right? If you went that way.
how are we gonna open, I wish you were here, how are we gonna, put bathrooms in there without opening the wall?
They're gonna be on the same where they're at now. They're leaving, just leaving the restrooms where they are.
In the showers?
No, there's not one in the shower.
I thought we were moving the plumbing to that side.
No, it would cost too much money.
That's the first estimate.
That's the first
here.
estimate.
Right, so
It's
if we
still on the
did
table.
that,
Can we just get an estimate? I mean, to me, I can't even make a decision without knowing exactly what we're gonna be doing. I would rather go out for bids and then we get tear it apart based on that versus
Sure.
assumptions,
yeah,
But when it comes back, we want detail,
right?
what are they putting in?
Exactly what they're doing, exactly. And what kind of stalls are they putting in and what
Throw
kind of,
this out there. If we choose not to do it, we're still gonna have to pay them for all the architect work.
Yeah. And if
Okay,
you-
and
if
we
you
already
send
are
out-
at this point.
If you send out 2, you're gonna pay double.
okay, let's send out, can we send out,
Larger.
wait, can we
Maybe
just
not
send out
double,
the
I think it would be
main one
more.
and then we can
Yeah.
cut from there?
right,
Like,
Yes.
let's go for the biggest one, not saying that we're gonna get it, but then we can like
cut.
cut this, but at least we'll have like a specific number and like
And
know what
exactly
our
what's gonna
plan
be
is.
done.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then start cutting off.
Rather than like, oh, well, we could cut this and this, but not even knowing like if that's gonna make a huge difference.
Yeah,
or
it might
not.
be like taking a window out, it's gonna cost $300, well,
Yeah.
Maybe you can give us a picture of what it's gonna look like.
that's
We'll
what
see
I
on
want.
HGTV.
We have blueprints and a couple packets ago.
I got one.
Okay.
Well, I like to see, like
I don't know.
Randy
I
said,
think
what exactly are they gonna put in, like vinyl flooring, what does that mean?
Mhm.
12-inch tile, I'm sure.
And what kind of partitions? I mean, the ones we have now are good for the graffiti, and I don't want anything else
Exactly,
in there.
maybe the plastic, the newer ones, they can't really write on and you can just wash off if you
Right,
need.
some of those we have, but the lockers, we need to select what kind of lockers.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of
This is just
detail.
very vague.
Yeah, and benches.
And they do
$1,200 for
change
benches.
clothes for PE.
Oh, they do,
School
yeah.
review is expensive.
Everybody does.
Sixth, seventh, and eighth
Just
grade
sixth.
does, fifth does not.
Okay, so 6th, 7th, 8th does change clothes for PE every day.
Mhm.
Okay, so why do we do lockers?
Okay, so he needs to give us a good set of blueprints like this. We did, but we've changed our mind about 3 times. Because this was without the opening.
But
Well, this is the opening. But this shows the toilets.
Those are called,
Right.
you see the benches and benches.
And you were talking about different benches, like whether they were stationary or,
Definitely want it into the concrete, I think.
And this,
Or into the
otherwise
wall.
it'd be more.
about, this is the only list I see for extra partitions and.
oh, I remember that, it's the crab bars and things.
So we did get that, I guess. What I'm asking, what else do you want him to give us? Do we agree to go ahead on some part of this? Since we need numbers in front of us, we need information
This is all basically.
before we decide
Accessories.
A, B, or C.
Sure.
Yeah.
One like Catherine is, we bid it all, because between these two, for $9,000, it's do it right or don't do it, you know.
True. But between the last one,
Yeah,
That's a large sum of money.
It is. But we'll still have all the numbers to work with at that point.
yes,
know what
and
we
you can
have.
start crossing off.
Yeah, I think we should go for the biggest ones, and then,
Start cutting out.
yeah, and then maybe get it, that way we can have it in our packets before the next meeting,
Well, and then if we don't
so we can
do it
decide.
now, we can at least have an idea for a few years from now. We need to maybe abate something if we don't do it.
Mm.
Right, and maybe if we do, depending on what we cut or not cut, we could set it up for the future to make it easier for them to finish it.
So if they're letting bids, we're asking them
You're
listed
committing,
as alternates.
you're committing, asking them to let bids, yeah.
Wait, we're
You're
committing?
committing to get the
Committed.
bids, not to do the
Yes,
work.
right.
Oh, yeah,
Agree.
I want the
Agree.
bids, but I'm
Right.
not, yeah.
Well,
You
because
know,
I'm just
if
thinking,
they all come in too high,
yeah, well,
project's dead.
Yeah.
exactly.
Then we paid the architect. $5,000.
Exactly.
The architect,
But
right.
we still have all
We
the
have to-
prints for later, or do it in pieces.
Right. Well, and another thing is maybe we would do the plumbing and maybe not put in the stalls this year. You know, have all that
Right.
ready for, you know, maybe that's a $5,000 difference.
Yeah.
Or maybe put in all the plumbing for everything and wait for the girls' side to put in the stalls, because they do have a bathroom in theirs.
Yeah.
Girls is much better shape.
Right. So I mean, maybe we could look at it that way.
Okay. Do we need a motion?
I mean, we get everything back, we can
How about a motion to allow the architect to let bids for the locker room remodel project? Would that be appropriate? I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Kittens,
Aye.
Catherine Reagan. Aye. Val Reagan. Aye. Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. So you get a hold of him tomorrow morning?
Yes.
All right, we need a motion regarding Title I.
Make the motion to accept the Title I district plan as presented.
Second.
Very
Very detailed.
It is very
The first
detailed,
detailed one I've ever seen. I was like, what is this?
and it's very well written.
Yeah, it is.
It
I
is.
was like, wow.
We haven't seen this, we don't usually get this.
No.
Wow.
So we do appreciate having it.
Yeah,
We have a plan.
yeah, I liked it.
Yep. All right, roll call, please.
Kittens,
Aye.
Cagle. Catherine Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan. Aye. Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding resolution.
I'll make the motion to approve resolution 1801, resolution to revise, oh, just that one for now.
Second.
All right, whereas the Board of Education of Creve Coeur School District 76 has heretofore established a working cash fund, the working cash fund, and whereas Article 20 of the Illinois School Code found at 105 ILCS 5/20-1 authorizes the board to abate the working cash fund and direct the transfer at any time of the monies in that fund to any fund or funds of the district most in need of money, and whereas it's in the best interest of the district to partially abate the working cash fund in the amount of $209,000 in the manner authorized by the act, and to transfer funds in that amount to the life safety fund, which fund is most in need of the money generated by the abatement, and whereas upon completion of the aforementioned transfer, the amount of credit to the working cash fund taxes levied pursuant to 105 ILCS 5/20-3 and not yet collected, and amounts transferred pursuant to 105 ILCS 5/20-4 and to be reimbursed to the working cash fund will be equal at least to 0.05% of the current equalized assessed value of the taxable property in the district. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of Creve Coeur School District 76, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Section 1, the working cash fund of the district is hereby abated, but only to the extent of $209,000, which amount the treasurer shall permanently transfer from the working cash fund to the life safety fund, such transfer to be completed as soon as possible after approval of this resolution. Section 2, except to the extent of $209,000 to be permanently transferred to the life safety as provided by this resolution, the balance of cash on hand and receivables due in the working cash fund shall remain available for use in accordance with this act. This resolution shall be in full force and effect forthwith upon its passage. Adopted this 22nd day of March 2018.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Comments?
I have
Questions?
questions.
Okay, let's see if I can answer them.
Okay, when we were putting this dollar amount and everything else, we were looking at the life safety projects, right? But now we got the report back from the state and they rejected just about everything.
Yes, and that's because
So if we
When
can't
our-
use life safety funds,
when the architect did this, they included things that the state wouldn't allow, such as paying our employees to move hazardous stuff in front of the door. I'm not sure why it was filled out and sent to the state. I would think the architect would know what the state accepts and what they don't. It's not saying that it doesn't have to be done, but we can't use life safety funds for that. So that was estimated, way overestimated. I had Shelley specifically put this in your packet so that you could all see everything they rejected.
Right.
Because, and I get that, I mean, bookshelves blocking exterior egress door, that's on us, that's not,
Yeah, we need to move it.
exactly. So I can see why the state rejected that. So I had her call the treasurer, or the auditors. What do we need to do with this working cash? Because we put too much over there. And we can't into life safety, and we can only use it for that much. That's why this resolution is being revised. We didn't need it over there, so we're revising it. The auditor said to do this, that's why we're doing it, okay, Mr. Giddens?
okay.
Okay, that's all I know. Maybe they haven't done that many 10-year life safety studies.
Well, some things is like, they said it's not even required. So it's like,
You know, but I see where we're trying to do something for ventilation and that,
right.
Right,
and they're rejecting it. So
those
then
I
we
can't
have-
answer,
Then
I
we
don't
have to
know.
take it out of building fund, you know, construction funds.
Right.
So I don't wanna have all this funds, can't spend it,
Well, and
and this
that's,
fund runs short.
right, and that's why we moved it back like we did, that's why we're revising it. So
Okay,
that we can get at the money to fix it on our own. It still has to be fixed.
Because it
yeah,
even says that maintenance items not allowed on this, so you would think that that would be part of it, maintenance items. But then it said maintenance items not allowed.
Yeah,
So
it's kinda
like, yeah,
confusing.
it is.
So it's not saying we don't have to do it, we just can't use life safety funds to do it.
Okay.
right,
That's it.
okay.
Okay. And I did have her check with Jason. I have a copy of the email that came back that said, do it.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, roll call please.
Higgins,
Aye.
Gagel. Aye. Catherine Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried.
Real quick, thank you for getting this information on the life safety funds, I mean, that's good to know.
It is good to know, because I'd never seen anything like this, you know.
Yeah,
And I
thank you for
asked her-
getting it.
I asked her for an example, and she gave me one, and she said, would you like me to include this in the packet? Please, so everybody can see it, and it's much more understandable
Now,
now.
I would have to assume that our other auditors didn't submit this stuff since we've never seen it.
Architects,
Yeah.
architects.
I'll look at that.
Shelley, I act like we had been rejected before, but it was a small sum of money, like just a few $100s.
Is this-
This is
I don't see why they sent it.
huge. So I'm gonna guess they haven't had much experience in doing 10-year life safety studies, probably.
But some of it, I don't understand why they can't be paid with the funds. They said they can't be paid with the funds, not that we didn't need it, because, I mean,
Right.
it talks about the fire alarm.
Yeah, I
You know,
don't
things like
understand
that.
that either, and the ventilation. I'm thinking, that's safety, but that's the
And
state.
holding the doors open electrically, that's fire safety.
Right, and then it
Leak
says
detector, that's the one that got me.
And
outlet
they're
box,
rejecting it.
there's no cover over, under that outlet box, I mean, you have to have that.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Well, it says we still have to do it, but
That
it
you
can't be
can't.
used out of those funds.
Yeah, district employees cannot be paid
So-
with,
And I guess it's the way it was written out.
I'm not wondering, because it kept saying district employees cannot be paid with this. Maybe you can only pay outsourced employees with it?
Maybe. Could be. I think it's the way it was written out.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Okay. All right. Second reading, Mr. Giddens.
Okay.
Let's see.
Let me get to it. Motion to approve second reading and adoption of policies 4:180 epidemic preparedness.
Second?
Second.
Mrs. Reagan, do
Love
you
it.
have any comments?
No, it's, the wording's, we saved this. It's exactly what it should say, epidemic, the whole thing.
Oh, we made the changes that you suggested, right?
That was a pandemic. Sorry.
But do we want it? I'm asking, I looked it up.
Okay.
I went back, I looked at footnotes, we had the footnotes, I also looked up definitions and that. And it sounded like the way it was presented originally seemed to be more accurate than going in there and just changing it to epidemic. Are we exceeding our authority, I guess is what I'm asking. If we do it for an epidemic. The laws kick in. And I just don't know the answer to that. Are we exceeding if we go epidemic?
I don't think you're exceeding your authority. It gives him a better authority to say if there's an epidemic, meaning if there's an outbreak in the area, he could do something. Pandemic really means global widespread.
I know,
So it's like saying he can't do anything until,
but that's what the policy was targeting, pandemics, not epidemics. And there is no policy for epidemic.
I think that at least now he could do something before it gets out of control.
Yeah. Because right now, like I just said, they don't have a policy recommendation for epidemics,
Okay.
just
But we do.
pandemics.
Okay.
But if we change it from,
I don't care.
that's just the only thing I wanted to bring up about that in tonight's discussion, that are we exceeding what's permitted?
It's no different than us requiring better scores, better grades on the report card to play sports, we're tightening it down.
And
Yeah,
beyond.
I think
Okay.
it could be fine.
However we wanna go with it, second reading.
Okay with
With this,
Mhm.
the epidemic,
that. Mhm.
yeah. Should it be epidemic or pandemic though?
It should be
At the bottom.
epidemic. Oh, with a bottom
Yeah.
line.
What?
We're at,
We all just ignored it, okay?
I didn't see, where's
No,
pandemic?
the-
Emergency school closing in case of a pandemic. Are we are we not changing that to epidemic?
We were just gonna ignore it and let it go.
Oh. But that's not what the policy is.
Okay. Do you want that word changed?
Yeah.
I would change it because,
Okay.
again,
Is it the policy or are you looking at the exhibit?
We are looking at
Policy.
policy.
4:180.
emergency school closing.
Because it kind of doesn't make sense, because this whole thing
And
is
it
like,
also says
epidemic,
implementation of
epidemic,
comprehensive pandemic influenza, but that's okay too. Anywhere it says pandemic,
Yes,
just
word.
change.
yeah, I don't, I just
Okay.
wanted it to be uniform throughout.
Yeah, that pandemic
Thing
stayed
is,
in
it said
the,
emergency pandemic influenza, so you're just talking about, this is just if there's a
A
flu.
smaller one, a smaller
It's
one,
just
rather
a
than,
flu.
yeah.
It's influenza.
Okay, so with that change, we would change pandemic to epidemic. Did you catch anything else, Kay?
No, that was it.
Okay, good.
It's in two different spots.
What?
It's in two different spots.
What's the
Where?
second one?
The second one's in the second paragraph toward the end. It says comprehensive pandemic influenza school
Oh,
action plan.
that was right. Okay, change that one. Okay. Okay,
But I was gonna let that one go.
two
I'll
changes.
just go through the whole policy.
Okay, all right. Roll call, please.
Giddens,
I,
Hagel, Catherine Reagan,
Aye.
Val Reagan, Tyler, Reiner, Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Okay, Mr. Giddens, you're on.
okay, motion to approve the administrative procedures for colon 180 AP1, school action steps for epidemic influenza, and for colon 180 AP2, epidemic influenza surveillance and reporting.
Second.
Discussion.
He's changed it to epidemic, which, yeah, that's fine. It's just for the flu. This is all this is.
Okay.
It's really not right.
What's that?
So if like norovirus outbreaks or anything like that,
Yeah, it's just for
Just
the.
the flu.
right, sorry.
It's just some kind of crazy.
Well, it's crazy.
But
All right, so if we
Sorry.
change the word pandemic to epidemic, everybody's good with it?
all the way through.
What?
If you look at some of the links,
if you click on, if somebody goes into that and they click on the links,
It takes them to pandemic?
it won't take them to the link because you've changed the name of the link.
I would not change the links, I would change,
Okay.
don't change the HTML.
Yeah, I would
So
not.
change everything
see.
but the links, see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I
Cause
see.
I went to go through there and change
Mm-hmm,
the wording and I thought, well,
Right here.
this is useless
Nice
because
page.
if somebody clicked on it, they're not gonna get to
Exactly.
the resource.
right, pandemic,
Oh, like here.
right here,
Yeah.
right here.
It's all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just don't change the links.
So we're leaving the APs alone, 1 and 2? Or are you just changing like the heading?
Changing the word pandemic in the
In the
title to epidemic.
Okay,
In the title.
Anywhere else in the,
Everywhere but the links.
everywhere but the links, yeah. She can put a find in, find it, replace it. We good with that? It's all AP1 and AP2. What about AP2? Same thing?
Yeah, it has it.
Say they'll come down and change it, not next year, but I'll show you what happens when we change something and they come in and change it.
I'm gonna get rid of it because they didn't have
Right.
another 20 years. This year was just a bad year for it, so they decided to do it.
Maybe. All right, you ready to vote? Roll call, please.
Giddens?
Aye.
Cagle?
Aye.
Catherine Regan?
Aye.
Val Regan?
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Griner?
Aye.
Bailey?
Aye, motion carried. All right, written communication. Okay. Reminder of upcoming events. Next regular board meeting is April the 10th. In your packet, you received the retirement information. It's on Wednesday, May 30th, 12:30. And we don't have to turn that in anymore, right? Okay, just show up. And that's for 2 of our retirees, Linda Timberlake and Dwight Mead. Graduation is May 24th. I'm gonna put that down on the calendars, reminder.
6:30?
6.
I got 6:30.
I think 6:30.
May 24th.
24th.
The school's out early
We're
this
just
year.
showing up early.
Are there any presentations or suggestions by board members? Anything else you want on the next agenda? All right, reports from the administration, Mr. Wiston, all yours.
I read a thank you from Dale King, our police chief. Wanted to express my sincere appreciation for your donation to the Creve Coeur DARE program, $2,500. Creve Coeur Police Department is committed to providing the best programs available to ensure our children have the best opportunity to become productive adults. I believe the DARE program is one of the best programs around. Your partnership in this endeavor is very appreciated, and this donation ensures our ability to continue the program. Sincerely, Chief Dale King. But that was nice. It's always nice to get those. We have down to talk about summer school. I'm just going to keep the sheets. I've got copies, but I think it's, the email I sent out today is quite a bit of stuff on that. But basically, doesn't make sense now. Junior high, we've continued to go through. We've had 2 meetings. Shelley, myself, both principals have been meeting twice early morning, and we've talked about the program. We'll update you on that. Junior high class time will be from 8 to 12. They will go a 4-hour shift, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 12. And then we were going to go with the younger kids in mixed building, 8:30 to 11:30. So one school would be going 4 hours, one school would be going 3. It works out well for the buses because we can bus the junior high kids, and then we can go get the elementary kids. The elementary kids will be the first ones picked up, the junior high will be the second ones picked up. So it really worked out well when we looked at for a bus, and we thought, now how's this going to work? I think the reason we're going 4 hours at the junior high is we're doing credit recovery. And we have to have 90 hours,
Yes.
90 hours, and we can get it with that. At LaSalle Elementary, they will not be doing credit recovery. It's just, that'll be 3-hour classes. Transportation, we can cover it with one bus. Breakfast is reimbursable. They call it the Seamless Summer Breakfast Program. We can be definitely be reimbursed for that. Looking at salaries, supplies, awards, I know we talked about giving, instead of taking the kids maybe to a trampoline park, just let's see if we can get some tickets. That's something they can work for if they have good attendance. We really want good attendance.
So we just give them the tickets and they can.
Okay. So we don't have to transport if they can go with their buddies.
Yeah, it's not bad.
We do have 9 teachers. I'll let the principals talk about that. The grant is still at $30,210. We haven't changed 4 weeks in June, 2 weeks in August, so it'll be 6 weeks. Let the principals maybe jump in and talk to us a little bit. I did write this down. Public Act 99-0524 appropriated $15 million in general revenue funds to provide for healthy community investments, grants to Illinois schools. So it's a $15 million grant, and that's why we're looking forward to it. Been very impressed with the after-school programs. Got to watch the LaSalle kids leave, all march down the hallway. There's really some neat things going on after school. Kids are just, those LaSalle kids, they talk about that, but they're excited just to be at school. They don't want to go home. They want to go home, but they like being in school. They don't mind staying there an extra hour.
How are we gonna get the schools clean?
Good question. I think we'll let the principals talk about that. We do have a gym floor date set. They do have a gym floor. We've got that set.
Okay.
We've already approved that. They did that a little early. 25th of July.
Who's doing that?
Veterans floor. Same people did last year.
Did it hold up as well as when Albright did it?
I think it did. I think it is. Steve can answer that. We've talked about that, but it hasn't peeled or anything like that. Principals, about the summer program, we've met a couple times.
Probably the only thing we'd add was, Steve and I had talked about this earlier, and your question was how we're gonna get the rooms clean. We just operate in different wings. My thought was during June, in my building, the summer school might take place in the second, third grade wing. And because we typically start cleaning down kindergarten, first grade up that way, and cleaning crew won't get to that wing as long as they continue on to 4th grade before they're done. When they come back for the last part of it, we're typically done with the whole building at that point anyway, because that's around August 1st, might be a few days before, but by that time, cleaning crews moving on to the more general areas like the cafeteria and other places, so we don't see an issue making that work.
Yeah, I think we can work around summer school.
I want to add that I did talk to the principals, and not that we have to agree on 100% of everything, but one thing I brought up to the principals was, it might be good if we surveyed all the parents to see who is interested, because I guess that's one thing I think I'm more with the junior high, getting numbers at the junior high compared to the elementary. I think we'll have numbers at the elementary. I think moms and dads will want their kids going to summer school. It'll be fun. Junior high kids, I might be wrong in saying this, but I think sleep in sounds good to them. So it's motivating them. I might be totally off it, but I thought we might try something just to put out to every parent, would you be interested in sending your kid to summer school, and put on that form saying this does not mean you're going to be accepted or qualified, but it will. I thought it'd be good to find out how many kids would be interested. Because let's say at Steve's school we have 35 kids being retained. It comes down to the last day, we only have 20. 10 of those kids don't want to go to summer school. They don't pass the grade, so we end up with 10 kids. I don't think that will happen, but if we ended up with 10, and we had some kids that might really want to, then maybe we'd be servicing some of the higher kids. You know, I think we have to decide how we accept and how we get kids into this program, but it would be nice to know how many kids actually would be interested district-wide. And maybe I'm all for saying that.
Well, that's not a bad thing, but as long as we're gonna do the 90 hours, then we can hold those students.
Feet to the fire.
Yes, if they're failing, they will be retained unless they go to summer school, since we are offering it. And Mr. Giddens and I and Mr. Johnson, we've all read the policy, we think our policy is,
Good as is.
I know it is good as is.
Well, the state law says we have to,
We have
90
to offer
hours.
something, so we
It
are
has to be 90.
offering it.
It has to be 90 hours, and otherwise,
Right, it
we
would not
can't,
hold.
can't use it for it.
Well, how many kids are we looking at servicing through summer school?
We've got 9 teachers, 5 and 4, so we're thinking, we're looking at 50 kids possibly per
both?
level. 50 and 50, 100 kids.
Oh, wow.
For Parkview,
That's a
it's
high
50 at Parkview, 50 at LaSalle.
Okay. Because I was thinking, can
That's
we
the
just do them
high.
all in one building, like in June, and then flip it to the next building in August? I mean, I didn't know if it would help with cleaning and busing. And also, don't we have to provide breakfast, so it might help with the breakfast? And don't we have to have a principal at both buildings now? I mean, I'm just thinking, when you do 2 different buildings, you have to have double the staff.
Yeah, she's right.
So if we did it all in one building, you have the cook there, and then you could have one principal.
Like let one of them go on vacation?
Yes!
I would, one thing,
I know August off.
I mean, when you look at both buildings, you have your pros and your cons. I think the junior high is a junior high building, that there's not a playground over there that's really sufficient for the little kids. Here,
They
it's
don't-
not,
They're only going 3 hours, how much
Yeah.
play would they do?
it'd be out there probably a good half hour, I'm sure.
Okay, so let's go.
Can I tell my story about my
Sure.
granddaughter?
Sure.
She doesn't like the recess.
No.
No, she went to summer school when we had summer school, and one day grandma got to pick her up. I came in to visit, and they were outside for recess, they were having popsicles, and when I came back to get her again, they were outside having recess, popsicles.
Warm popsicles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. But then the next day, after I had visited, she asked Grandma, why didn't we get 2 recesses today? Because Grandma came, they didn't get 2 recesses. So I'm just wondering, in 3 hours,
Right.
okay, I'm sure they need a break, but
The advantage of, there's an advantage of both. Parkview has more air conditioning,
that's
with a cafeteria and a library.
we
Maybe,
think
maybe
about
not,
that.
maybe, because you've got a room or 2.
I mean, I'm just saying, you'll have to have more staff.
We just talked a little bit back here, and if you put 100 kids and 10 teachers in one building, that's gonna do more to disrupt the cleaning of that building.
Right.
You can't hide smaller groups. Also, we were debating which one was gonna have to tell their teachers, oh, by the way, you gotta take all your stuff to the other building to teach these kids with. That becomes a bigger pain.
But they're gonna have to take it to another room anyway, when you
Yeah.
clean, you don't know which room they're gonna be in, and which teacher.
Moving within a building on a cart versus,
That's true.
and, ooh, I forgot something, I can walk over and get it, that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But I would think between the 3 of us, we can have an administrator visit a building if Steve's gonna be gone. And truly, that's more the state summer school at his building than mine, the 90 hours. Somebody can stop by there for an hour on a daily basis. I don't know that somebody has to be present for,
Okay,
The whole 3 hours, I'm not sure either.
teacher's contract, does that extend into summer? 2.5 hours?
No.
No, it just has to be available to the teachers at $26 an hour.
But not a principal on staff?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know summer school had that, the principal and stuff.
I don't either, because contract still says that.
Right.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Well, just a thought, regardless which building you use, I've noticed passing Homewood, we have a couple window air conditioners still there.
Yes.
I'm guessing they left them. they're
They're
ours.
They're ours.
Then maybe we could take them to the schools. A couple is not gonna do anything to harm the electricity, like we were thinking, we put an air conditioner in every room, it's gonna blow. I think one or two wouldn't hurt. And maybe that would help
I
for
think
the
that's a
summer.
good idea.
Yes.
It would make kids not
Exactly, and use
really
them.
dread going as much, you know.
I don't know how many's down there, I know I see two.
And 8:30 to 11:30, hopefully it won't be so hot.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So use them where they're needed, get somebody to take them out of the windows.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, all right, do you have anything else?
One other thing, Donna McCall, I wanna kinda get you updated on her, what she's doing, it's a one-page sheet. It'd be interesting to talk to the teachers at LaSalle today. I think most of them met with her. They weren't paid any stipend. We did do it during their prep time a lot of times. Some of them stayed after school. She started at 7:45 this morning, and when I went over to check at 4:30, they were still meeting, so. Holly Callahan said the door was closed all day. She said, I don't know if she even had a break. I did bring her a sandwich for lunch, had some Panera in the morning. So I think the teachers, and probably, I haven't had feedback from the teachers, but she thought things went really well. She said, we've got some things we can improve on, and found out just a lot. And, but I think a couple things she probably did ask them was, you know, what are we doing well? What can we improve? I'm sure those are two of the questions she asked, and I'm sure she got lots of information. Hopefully everybody was honest and just given information that will make our school better. But like I said, she had a long day. We have to do, I told her now that she's been in LaSalle, we need to go down to Parkview sometime and talk to those teachers. And she's gonna be talking with Steve about that. But had a good day. We kind of set the schedule. April 10th is our next board meeting. We thought we might make that a day she'd go to Parkview, even stay for the board meeting, talk about.
That would be good if she could.
Yeah, could stay. She said she'd even stay tonight. I said, no, you're not on the agenda. But, you know.
We could have made room for her,
Yeah.
but, okay.
But I think the teachers, they set in there, some of the teachers for an hour in there. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Not all the teachers got in there because there wasn't time. It wasn't mandatory that teachers had to. That's one thing we said, it's voluntary.
Sure.
She said, nobody shows up. But she was very happy with the turnout of the teachers that came in.
Well, this is for the teachers.
Yeah.
To help them, whatever she can do to help them is what we all need.
I don't know if anybody heard anything of the two, Patty or.
Third and fourth grade, it was not a time that we could go, so.
Now, fourth grade did, they were in there, they were the last group of 4:30 that was in there.
Oh, they stayed after school.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple fourth
Nice.
grade teachers.
Well, you know, I was gonna say, because I did tutoring for somebody, so
Sure.
I wasn't even available till 4:30, so.
Oh.
So it was good. Just wanted to update people.
Okay.
Now, we talked about the price. She talked about the end of this year, she hasn't charged us a thing yet, she's been here like 2 full days. But she says, you know, if a couple thousand at the end of this year would be fine with her. And if you look down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 7 days here. Some of the things that let's talk about, because when I read it, I'm thinking, that's a lot to ask. Meet with parking teachers, we did that kind of today with Sal, so we understand what that's gonna be. On the 17th, she wants to go meet with the student council at Parkview, and then she was gonna send home a sticky note, something, and probably have more planned out, but have a district strategic planning meeting. Anybody in the district, board members, teachers, and anybody that lives in Creve Coeur that's close by is welcome to come. We don't have food planned or anything yet. We might not, probably won't. But that was a date we had on here on April 17th. To me, that would be a big night. You know, if there's 20 people there, it's not a big turnout. If we have 100 people, that's a good turnout.
It's hard to anticipate,
So,
but it's worth a try.
but she's got that from 6 to 7:30. She said we would be finished at 7:30. We wouldn't go a second longer than 7:30. Whenever we stop and we go on. The 19th is one, I think the evening one makes sense to me. The 19th, I questioned her on. I said, you know, getting people in here from 12 to 2, people are working, and she had talked about, well, you know, you get clergy, businessmen, and she just wanted to get and it was an invite only. And I thought, that's her and I have to discuss that, because I thought, that's a lot of questions for me. Did you invite 12 to 2, people work?
And what's the purpose of it?
Right. Is she
that-
getting stakeholders in?
That's what it sounds like.
That's what, yeah, it does. It sounds like she wants stakeholders in the community.
It's okay.
Which is okay, but like you said, from 12 to 2 it might be.
We had, May 18th is an SIP day. We talked about getting both curriculums back in here. I know Steve hasn't seen either one. I have seen just a very little of one. We have some teachers who haven't seen either one. So I think we would want both the staff, it's an SIP day, so we would have them look at both programs. One thing she said was, and I would agree with her on this, she says if you're gonna buy a curriculum, it needs to be K-8. You don't need to have an elementary curriculum and a junior high curriculum. There is some thought out there that maybe we would have a K-6 program and maybe a 7-8, you know, because junior high is different than K-6.
But then that's going to produce the gap
Well, there's a gap, but they're
that we're hearing about in math.
Well, and LaSalle has already picked their ELA, I thought.
not necessarily.
Okay.
I don't think.
Okay.
Now, and Mick could talk about that. I think
It's just awfully late.
it's late, and it is. I think it's a sticker price for the one that Mick looked at. I think is for K-8
Okay.
to go McGraw Hill all the way through. It was $102,000. Now that's maybe first shot. Maybe it'd be less than that, but that's a number I think we heard. 102,000. Our math was right at that, but I think it was closer to 80.
Mhm. What we've always done in the past, math we shoved through because they needed it desperately. What the board needs in order to approve this, or at least this is what I would want, is the pros and cons of both series. Why they want it, why they don't. And that should come from the committee that, Mr. Giddens, isn't that what we used to have?
Yeah,
It's been a long time.
and what's different is, you know, I've been looking on our Mathnet, I didn't know what was going on, I'm sitting in the board, had no clue.
Yeah,
And at Christmas break, I sent to schools, I looked at test scores and compared some districts like ours and some just to compare. What are the textbooks are they using at? But since then, I found that edreport.com,
mhm.
and I know it showed only one, I think, K through 8 program. And,
Must be McGraw Hill.
well, the one that showed good marks,
Are you talking
and they
about
went
math?
through,
Are you talking for math?
it'll do both, ELA, I looked at ELA right now, and they tell you what it's missing or lacking and each different. Now, this isn't, I don't know how many teachers and administrators are involved
That's good.
in this report doing these studies and participating, but it gave a very detailed report.
And then maybe once we know the name of the ones they're thinking about, we could get that report
The
Yeah.
two
on those.
ELA programs would be McGraw Hill,
Okay.
McGraw Hill, and Pearson.
Yeah, we talked about Pearson.
Pearson, which one? Because there's 2 Pearsons out there.
Is it?
One of them's horrible. It's not recommended by anybody. That's getting very low scores.
And that's what one of the teachers was talking
Do
about.
we know
They were-
which Pearson
and-
principals?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Elementary.
LaSalle wasn't.
Yeah, elementary.
LaSalle wasn't. Parkview
If you
was.
say the name, I might recall. The one's got real
McGraw
horrible
Hill
marks.
is wonders. McGraw
Wonders?
Hill is wonders.
The Pearson resource is, the 6-8 would be my perspective, and then the K-5 is Ready Gen.
I wonder how they come up with these names.
Some lady
Yeah.
started.
Okay. I don't
And what was ready, Jen?
K-5. K-5,
Okay.
Pearson.
Yes, Ready Gen K5, my perspective, 6-8.
Add one note to that. Wonders is K6, their 7-8 version is Study Sync.
Good information.
I'm sure the teachers have already went to this website and looked at all of these already. But, okay.
Kathy, tell them what you had told me about not having a textbook.
What I told Mr. Wiston was reach into the Pearson bag and pull out the student textbook. Because when I got that dumped in my room, I was just substituting for somebody. And he looked at me kind of funny. There is no student textbook
With Pearson.
with Pearson. There is no student textbook with Pearson.
So what
There are little trade books, and of course, we can't send those home, so we would have to be making copies.
Okay, that's a con.
It's a
You know, that's-
huge con,
Right.
because that's the foundation of your reading. If we can't send that reading book home, what are we going to do?
Well, and that's what we need to all measure. You've already measured it. We'll need all that too.
There's lots of, it'll go back and forth. So Pearson, whether it's the right Pearson or, but Pearson is doing the new test that's gonna replace the part. So of course Pearson's gonna say they've got the inside track.
I didn't think that was out yet, was it?
Oh, it's not out yet. They're, but I asked.
Were you
Donna-
supposed to tell? It's not out yet?
That the person was doing it?
Oh, Pearson, I think everybody, it's already known that Pearson's.
Oh, I
the
never changed it, so
copy.
they probably did it.
They had the last one, so.
Okay. All right. And then the last day, meet with the union president, one board member, and 4 administrations. That was on May 31st or June 1st.
That's a long time.
And that's also the same day, and that's the same day as the luncheon?
Why? No.
No, I don't think so,
The
no.
The 30th.
It's the last, it's a Thursday, Friday.
You tell her, this ain't happening.
What, you don't wanna meet that 8 to 3? That's too long.
11 to 3. 11 to 2.
I mean,
8 o'clock is not doable. Okay? All right. Let's see, this is the first meeting of the, yeah, unless Val does it.
I don't
That's-
think I could do that.
Okay. All right, this is the first meeting of the month.
I
This
have
is
a
the last
lot
meeting of the month. This is the last meeting of the month. This is the only meeting of the month. Now what do you want me to do, Mr. McCormick?
It's the only one.
Flip
Toss
coin.
it home.
Okay, you're first.
Before it comes.
he smiled.
All figured out. First meeting, second meeting.
This is the first.
The only meeting, or the last. Okay.
Just a couple things to chat about. Last meeting, and I think 2 of you were gone at that time, we talked about changing kindergarten screening a little bit, putting it the last 2 days of school attendance, not having our current kindergartners attend those 2 days, pushing it later. It gets us a better snapshot of the kids. We also are hoping that we get better attendance because people are more in the mindset of, oh, hey, my kid's gonna be in kindergarten next year. We're just looking to change things up. This is something that one of the Washington districts does, and I talked to them about it, and it's actually District 50, which has arguably a similar population to us around here, and he says it's the way they've always done it, and it works really well for them. So, one question that came out of that was, well, then the current kindergartners miss out on fun day. Well, kindergarten was already prepared to make their own fun day for them, something that's a little more kindergarten oriented, as well. And they said, you know, the bounce house is nice, but the big obstacle course, have our kids look at it and go, I can't even get on that. You know, so that wasn't a big thing. The parent club is aware of this and said, well, we'll do whatever else we do for them. You know, if we're doing popsicles and popcorn, we'll still do that for kindergarten on the other day. Kindergarten also has typically done a kindergarten promotion, graduation, whatever you call it, usually a day or 2 ahead of that. They would move that to being part of their last fun day, and our older kids' fun day ends in awards. So the kindergarten would end in their promotion ceremony and awards as well. So, if it seems reasonable, we'll go ahead and start getting that out there, but if you, I don't know, just looking for some guidance.
What do you guys think? Any problems with it?
So he's like ending,
2 days earlier.
you're ending 2 days earlier.
Yes,
I think it would be okay, but I don't think we should do it this year.
Why?
Because we already have a school calendar, it went out to those parents and it wasn't on there.
It's only kindergarten. Okay.
I'm just saying, you're changing the school calendar that you sent out at the beginning of the year to these parents.
And we're meeting the state guidelines on number of days, hours.
I already asked that question.
Kindergarten's not.
8th graders will be done the exact same day.
But 8th graders, it's already always known that they get out early, that they have graduation after their graduation, they're, practice, they're done. I mean,
Well,
it's
the
like,
kindergartner parents don't even know.
we gave the
They're
school,
still clueless at
we
this
gave the
point.
school calendar though, the first day of school.
But the school calendar didn't have graduation on it.
I'm just saying, with 8th graders, everyone knows that they get out early. Kindergarten,
I'm thinking we could probably, we got 2 months, we could do a good job of letting them know.
Okay, consensus. You get to start, Brenda. Yes or no? 2 days early, we'll go that. Do you agree to let the kindergartners out 2 days early so that we can do the screening, kindergarten screening? Is
Their
that
daughter
correctly?
will be fine with it, as long as she has enough notice.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think it would probably, well, what about like summer camps and daycare and stuff? Do we have like a latchkey summer program that parents rely on to start like?
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
I mean, for
We
working
used to.
parents, it might not be the greatest.
They
but-
have
Yeah.
after school care, some of them.
That's what I was thinking, cause like for
So you tell
working-
Latchkey that they're not gonna be there, I guess.
No, I meant like for working parents.
Right,
like,
you would have to tell Latchkey they're not gonna be there.
No, what are they gonna do
The
with
other
their
way.
kid?
The other way she's talking.
Well, what I'm
They
saying
didn't
is
have
some
anywhere
people,
to take 'em.
kindergartners, they go to Latchkey
You know what I'm
afterwards.
Yeah, I do, and I would think that if we had a parent that couldn't make accommodations for their child, that maybe that kid could sit in first grade for 2 days. And
Miss Carter's room.
there you
Oh.
go, yeah. I wouldn't think we'd have any that couldn't make arrangements knowing this far out.
Okay, then yeah, I'm fine with it.
Mr. Giddens?
I think we're giving a long lead time. If we get feedback from,
If
you know, we can also have feedback where, how disruptive it might be, and then. But right now, I don't have a problem with it.
Mrs. Tyler?
I'm fine.
Mrs. Creighton?
I think that our test scores being so low and first grade teachers complaining that the kindergartners aren't ready, I think it's ridiculous we're letting them out 2 days early, period.
I'm good with it.
Okay, I'm good with it.
I'm the only one that wasn't, so.
Yeah,
you got it.
direction, go ahead and do it.
Thank you.
Your points are well taken. You're right.
Well, I'm just like, we can't complain about test scores when we're letting them out of school.
They shut down after.
I
At some
realize that,
point.
but again, they say because they lose so much during the summer, you have a summer break, I mean, we throw it back and forth all the time,
We let them out too.
and we let them out.
But maybe if we have a better understanding of where they're coming in at for the next year, maybe they can make better accommodations, I don't know.
Yeah, we need to do something about the screenings for the teachers,
Yeah,
I get
and I
that.
like that part.
Yeah, I get that, we do need to do something, but I'm not sure if letting students out, I would rather get subs for them and teach them.
It's the other possibility.
I'm just saying.
Okay, you have our decision, go with it.
Thank
And
you.
based on feedback, we could do that.
Mhm.
If the parents, if they have a big issue with it, then we could bring in subs if we need to.
Hard to get. Okay, what else do you have to report?
Visited Monroe's school, Mr. Whiston and I visited, spent, I don't remember, an hour and a half, 2 hours. They were very well prepared for us to stop by. It was almost like they had people do this all the time, had a nice little booklet of information and whatnot. I'd share it with you, but it'd be pretty overwhelming, and a lot of it, I was like, I don't care about this. But some of the takeaways I had, some of the things I was looking for, it's like, okay, do they go to school an hour longer than us? Things like that. No, 10 minutes difference in the schedule, okay? We got a copy of, I think, every teacher's schedule, and I looked more at the elementary school, and I'm like, okay, they've got a recess time, they've got a lunch time, okay, things are pretty similar there. They do have a K-8 technology curriculum, which I got a copy of as well. Now, they have a technology teacher, and I don't remember, I didn't ask, but kids get technology once, maybe twice a week. It kind of depends on the grade level. In the beginning, it's just, you know, turning on the computer and logging in, but the curriculum is pretty nicely laid out. Hey, this doesn't apply to kindergartners at all, this applies, you know, it's, by grade level, it's pretty simple and straightforward, easy to understand. They also have, we use map testing, which you guys all familiar with, as well as Ames web testing. And they ditched the Ames web testing and just rely solely on map. I've asked that before of our teachers. I said, well, why do we use both? Well, Ames web tends to relate a little better to the very young ones, particularly when you don't want their scores to be influenced by a computer. You can listen to them read and score them that way. The other thing is that Ames Web offers you the ability to progress monitor them. The students struggling them, we got to check them every week. Are they making progress? The progress monitoring part of it. What I didn't know was that MAP now offers that too. And so when they ditched Ames Web, went solely with MAP, and they use MAP skills as part of it that allows them to progress monitor. I said, well, is it easier? She's like, phew, it's a piece of cake. The progress monitoring takes so much less time, and we're not doing. So anyway, it's just something we're going to look into because we have to figure out how to work MAP skills first before we.
So that's something we already have access to, or
No.
Have to pay more.
It's a $500 add-on.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Not
how much is
considering
Ames
the
Web?
subscription is,
Yeah, Ames Web's worth more than that, so,
oh, far more,
No.
thousands more.
yeah.
Something to think about.
Something else that Monroe talked about was they took a hard look at their minutes that kids were getting in particular classes a couple years ago, and they used to have more of a balanced schedule where, you know, periods were 50 minutes long each day, so you got 50 minutes of math, but you also got 50 minutes of PE, you got 50 minutes of reading, you got 50 minutes of social studies, and they said, you know what, we're being graded on math and English, so they focused a lot more of their time there and figured out how to minimize time in things that they weren't being graded on. And that occurred more at the junior high, because that's the schedule they had to manipulate more, whereas an elementary room where it's self-contained, they manipulate their own schedule pretty easily.
I'm interested to find out how they had time for curriculum, tech curriculum.
To create it or fit it in?
Fit it into their schedule.
I can show you some of the schedules where it fits in. They have a part-time art teacher who does like twice a week. I think she works for them 2 days a week and somebody else 3 days a week, different district. So kids get art one day, they get tech 1 or 2 days, and maybe music is the other days, you know.
That's what Holly County used to do.
They also have they're all, my brother's kids went to the Royal Home.
Oh.
And their parent participation in everything that they do there is phenomenal. All their sports activities, anything that they do, their parent participation is huge. There.
It's a lot.
I mean, their parents are at everything.
It does help.
Their parents are working the snack bars, their parents are working everything. I mean, it is just phenomenal.
Do they have a similar demographic?
25% free reduced lunch.
Yeah, no.
No.
Considerably smaller district.
250 kids?
They were about the size of LaSalle
Yeah.
as a district. So.
300.
Okay.
Monroe School District in Bartonville, if you wanted to look up their park.
But their sports and things, I mean, their kids, their seventh graders went to state last year in basketball. I mean, their parents are like right there with them all the way. I mean, it's just amazing. So anyway, I didn't wanna.
That's good, I was done
It's
with
just-
Monroe
It's
anyway.
just amazing, so.
It's really, you just, right off the highway there, as soon as you take that left. Just a little cluster of houses right there,
Across from the airport.
across the airport.
Well, the only reason I ask is I wanna know what someone else is doing nearby. You know, and they have, they're performing,
Right.
so.
Park testing is complete in my building, including the makeups. We got the makeups finished this week. Attendance was really pretty good. I had 2 of the 6 classes with perfect attendance for the week, and I think we only had 8 kids total that had to make up any tests.
Wow, that is awesome.
So the teachers really did a nice job of stressing the importance of being there. You know, good breakfast, on time, good night's sleep, so kids were fired up and ready to go.
Great.
Do we
Fourth
do
grade-
snacks for them?
Yeah.
Good,
And at the end of the week, we did ice cream treats as well.
good.
4th grade did an endangered animal exhibit, was really well attended. I talked about it before, but it was a project they did between the 3 classes where you had a group member from each class, so they kind of intermingled between the classes, but they did a project on an endangered animal, which included a PowerPoint presentation as well as some sort of creation of their habitat. And so then they put those all on display, and we had popcorn from the parent club, and it was a nice little evening. And we got Easter egg hunts and parties tomorrow. And that's all I got.
Yeah, I'll sugar it up.
Who gets to hunt Easter eggs?
Kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. 3rd grade today stuffed the Easter eggs. 4th grade hides the Easter eggs, which really means they put them out in the field. And parent club provides treats for 3rd and 4th grade to have in the classroom.
Okay.
What we've done the last couple of years.
Yeah, that is good. All right. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Mr. Johnson, all yours.
Well, we're definitely excited that spring break is upon us.
That we are.
I
Early
think
out
sometimes the adults may be as excited as the students.
Early out.
Always good to get a little break in the action. We can do without snow. Hopefully we don't get the snow, but
Village Easter egg hunt's been moved.
It's a week.
Because of the snow.
Good, good.
Now we won't get it. Yeah, except, thank you for moving it. That way we won't get the snow.
Probably when we get it.
That's okay.
all right, as Mr. McCormick reported, we're halfway through the park assessment. Our 7th and 8th grade have completed the test. Our 5th and 6th grade students will be taking the test beginning on April the 10th and concluding April 13th. We also had some incentives. We had some different dress, 7th and 8th grade level. We had some different dress-up days. We're gonna mimic that at the 5th and 6th grade level. We have snacks prior to the test, and then at the end of the day, 7th and 8th grade, 5th and 6th grade is gonna mock their program of earning tickets. If the student earns the ticket for effort, for participating during the assessment, then we'll have some ice cream and some other treats at the end of the day. So 5th and 6th grade, they have a nice program, assessment program, like the 7th and 8th grade. Mr. Wisdom talked about the summer school proposal. There's a little bit of detail here in the report if you'd like to look at that. This talks about the teachers who've expressed interest. It also talks about our goals. As Mr. Wisdom mentioned, right now, our teachers are excited about this opportunity to provide summer school in that it's going to hopefully provide some responsibility onto our students. To try hard, get your homework done, participate in a positive manner. So we're excited about the remediation piece, but also we had talked about putting the survey out and hopefully getting some additional interest for some enrichment education as well. So we are, the staff and I are very excited about the summer school program. We talked about the ELA. 10-year health life safety report. The last 2 days, we've had an electrical contractor in. That was today. And then yesterday, we had an HVAC contractor in. And what we're doing is we're looking at the final projects. And we're getting fairly close to being completed over at Parkview. So they're going to put together a proposal. I'll get that to Mr. Whiston so that Mr. Whiston can review the proposal. But we should be knocking out most of these projects. Toby's pretty much completed what he can complete, so that's why we're getting the contractors in to give us a proposal. On a positive note, we had a young lady at Parkview School, the YWCA in Pekin. They're going to be holding their 37th annual Women's Recognition Luncheon on Thursday, May the 3rd. At the Pekin Country Club. We had an 8th grade student, Jaden Park. She has been nominated by our staff to be recognized at this event. Some criteria that the YWCA asked our staff to look at were criteria such as academics, athletics, different types of awards, music, school activities, and service. So Jaden, we talked to Jaden this morning, and we're very proud of Jaden being recognized by our staff for that recognition.
Will the staff go with her?
Yes, we will have a staff member accompany Jaden, absolutely. The Ned Show, we had a phone call recently from the Ned Show, and it's a free. Have you had this before?
Oh, yeah.
You've had the Ned
We
Show.
love those guys.
Okay, well,
They can do anything
call.
with the yoga.
Either, go ahead.
And I hadn't heard of the Ned Show before,
That's
but
correct.
we had talked, this gentleman, we talked, it's a free show, free program, bullying prevention, and the message is never give up, encourage others, and do your best. And then after the program, they'll have some resources for our staff, lesson plans, videos, classroom activities that center upon the NED trait. So we have scheduled Ned to be at Parkview on Thursday, April the 5th. So sounds like a nice program, nice topic,
I
nice.
think the only thing they require you to do is the guys that are yo-yos. I mean, they can do anything with a yo-yo, and they walk the dog and do all this stuff with yo-yo. They have for a couple weeks just keep if the kids want to buy yo-yos, they're expensive. They're $8 to $10 for a yo-yo, but the kids don't have to buy any. You'll be surprised after watching Ned do the yo-yo. The kids will buy yo-yos. And
So
if you're a grandma or a mom, you have to put the strings in and do all that.
sounds like a fun day, a good topic for the students. Last year we had a student appreciation day at the end of the school year. And we'd like to have a student appreciation day on Wednesday, May 23rd, and pretty simple. We grilled some cheeseburgers out for our students. We had some drinks. We asked Pepsi to donate some drinks for us. We had some ice cream. We just try to have a fun lunch. So the students liked it last year, and we'd like to try to do that again this year. So we tentatively planned that on May 23rd.
Can Michelle get that for you?
Yeah, Michelle and I met a few days ago, and we talked about, actually, the one thing that I asked to have cheeseburgers.
Okay.
I like cheeseburgers, and the kids like cheeseburgers, but everything, the healthy things, Michelle made sure that our, the apple slices and all that stuff, so that our menu is compliant. So, that's really about, the only other thing I'd like to say, I'm very proud, we had 6 students who recently wrote a proposal, and those 6 students asked that our student body and staff participate in a silent march day, and it was the one month commemoration of the terrible incident that occurred down in South Florida. And students, they really did a good job on writing a proposal. It was a really nice day. Very, very nice day. It was a serious day, and I think I was very proud of our students during the program. The gym, quiet, It was much like our Veterans Day program that we have in November. It was solemn. We recognized those victims. In southern Florida, we talked about being united in the name of school safety. And then at the end of it, the students and staff voluntarily marching around the campus. It was a really, really nice day, and probably one of the proudest moments I've had of our students was putting the proposal together and then demonstrating, showing the respect in the gym. Very pleased with that. So we're gearing up for the end of the year. So that's hard to believe.
It's went fast.
It's going fast.
But the month of April and May gets
Mhm. They're moving right along.
Any questions? Thank you. All right, committee reports. Building and grounds.
Doing all the work so far.
I add something to that. The teachers address the safety issue at the meeting. And, they want to know what the board is doing, or propose to do for safety of the students and the staff. And I said I would bring it up at the board meeting. I don't know what we can do. I mean, we looked at Parkview, just in general, talked about how Parkview, you have both doors. Students are going in and out. And, I mean, I guess the board just has to look at the whole situation and see what we want to do, see if we can buy anything to make them more safe. But they also talked about doing a drill with the students, like, a active shooter drill, so the students know what to do. So, I mean, that can be done at both schools pretty easily. But
I'm scared of the little ones.
Yeah.
Would be my concern, but.
we have to do it. It's our new world. To be safe and sorry.
And they also brought up, they like the changes that Mr. McCormick made down to one door.
Yes, and Mr. McCormick stands at the door when everyone's walking in, so that, you don't have people entering at multiple doors. We talked about making sure that that's at Parkview as well, having people at both doors, but, I mean, I don't know what the answer is for
I
safety.
relayed most of that to Mr. Johnson.
But, I mean, we
Kind of
can't
discuss it.
lock down, parking's just so much harder.
It is.
I don't know, I mean, maybe we could visit that instead of putting the money in the locker rooms.
But we've looked at that how many times, and there's just no good place to put that on.
I know, that's what I'm saying, maybe we just need to revisit it, I don't know. Or put more you got cameras out there. Maybe we need to be vigilant, don't let everyone in, make sure you know who you're letting in.
Do they still use the little buzzer
Yes.
things? That's good. That's better than the last.
Yes.
Instead of buzzing them in though, to go to the door and actually see, I guess.
And let them in,
Does
walk
she
down
have
there.
a camera?
I got a question, doesn't that buzzer at Parkview have a camera on it?
Yes.
On that door?
Yes, it
So she
does.
can see this.
So before they buzz them in, they see you.
But if someone's behind them, then they don't get in.
Is there not one up in the corner? Like where she can see down,
Yes.
like a bird's eye view?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how we can make them feel safe. I mean, there's windows around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my only thing would be like a security guard, but that's expensive.
Yeah, do we want to visit that? I don't
And
know.
Mrs. Cagle emailed me and said maybe it's time we check into metal
Right.
detectors. But I'm waiting for the state to come down.
With money. And they said that there was federal money.
There's a lot of
Now,
talk about you need to
this
produce the
week,
money,
Was it
so.
this week they put so much money into, federal money into
Did they?
school safety grants, yes.
Okay.
So it might be
That's what we
trickling
need to
down
look
to the
for.
state, that we could get something.
Yeah.
I think the House passed that already.
Did they pass
I
it?
think I read that the House did.
Well, at Parkview, the main doors at the front of the building, I guess, those could even be locked and they just come in and out that side door there. where the parents
Well, we
and
talked about that, but the parents drop off
Right,
there,
you
they're
don't
not
want a
allowed.
bus lane in the back.
They're not allowed to drop off and back.
Right. They do. Well, they're not supposed to.
They're not supposed to. I know when I did it with the girls, I always dropped
Always
off
in the
front,
front.
always. Because you weren't allowed to drop off and back.
I mean, we've had architects look at it before and just never came up with a solution. We even tried to make a bus drop-off in the front.
Yeah,
where
like
it
a
could
U-turn, we
come-
talked about that when
Yeah. and
they
there's
got
not
the
enough
road.
Space,
when the city got the road thing.
right.
The,
Can I
Yes.
comment about the shooter drills and involving the kids? Then I would like to do something, I'd like to see one with the staff first. Staff
We've done that.
only.
they did that.
Huh?
We've done
Yeah, I
that.
know you've done it, but every year, that way when you do the next one with the students, it's all fresh in the staff's memory and everything else. And, you know, maybe that'll give the kids better confidence or whatever. My teacher knows it all, and I'm listening to my teacher.
We do lockdown drills, we had 2 this year drills.
With
the kids.
With the kids, okay,
With the kids.
okay.
What?
But now they're moving to, I don't know if we are, have we transitioned to that Alice?
That we what?
No. You're shaking your head no. Okay.
Alice.
Well, that's what they're talking about. I mean, it's very expensive. But then they have like these door jam things that it's not as expensive. I mean, maybe we just look at things and see and if there's grant money out now, maybe we could with the grant money move the office. I don't know.
Well, I saw, I don't know, I'm just coming up with ideas, but there's this little thing that you can put into classrooms.
Oh, yeah. It's
It's
like
expensive.
Shelter in place, actually, I was at $30,000
It's
to fit one of our classrooms, 25 to 30 kids in
per
the
classroom,
classroom.
and it only
Yes.
fits 24 kids.
Yeah, you could get up to 30, 32 people in it, but it's $30,000 per room.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I know at Homewood, one time we had an aid place in front of the doors when we had a security issue.
That's
So-
true, all the time.
So that,
And maybe
That would
that's
be
what we need
another-
to do, yeah.
another option.
That was her
One for
job,
the
to sit at the
And
desk.
that way she could physically see who was out there.
You know, I remember that at Homewood.
Yeah,
She
I
had her
forgot
desk
about
out in the hallway, and
It's
she,
been a
you
while.
You had to go in that door.
had to go in that door and she would ask where you were going.
jobs, I don't not doing them.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you
Put
know,
away where they
we
been.
just,
Armor principal with a machine gun.
you know, we don't wanna wait
We
till
have a
summer.
sign on, we
mentioned-
have a sign on the building that
You
says,
mentioned
we are
metal
armed.
detectors, and I thought particularly,
Be cheap.
well,
Yes,
maybe
right.
especially at Parkview or something, I've been looking at a hand wand that runs like $200. Not a real cheap one, but this one is supposed to detect even if a kid's got a small foil, they're looking for drugs right then. If, you know, you can, if there's something questionable or if some comments from other students or anything, trained personnel can say, and it's already in our policy, you know, to do a search. Now this, if you did with a wand, and you say empty your pockets. But if you go into a pat down and things like that, you separate that child, it's in our policy already. So they're out of view from the rest of the students and stuff like that. But if, you know, if there's an incident or there's something that maybe there's a student you want to, let's just do a quick scan instead of patting everybody down. You know, that's something that I'd like
Yeah,
for
but
us
then
to
you've got
consider.
those students that, you know, bring knives into your school or weapons into your school day after day and you don't even know it.
That you would with the wand.
Only
The
if
wand
you
They're
we
not
can
gonna
still-
let them turn
Yeah.
watching them every day.
Well,
Yeah, you're
somebody's
never gonna
talking
get
about.
all the kids
No.
in doing that.
No, because just this week, two students in Florida got arrested for knives. Two
That's what I'm
students from
saying,
high
if you
school.
had something installed at your doorways and then you're just walking past that and that sucker goes off, bingo.
It goes off constantly though.
But you would have to have someone stationed there too. You'd have to have them at both doors then.
And they'd have to empty their contents and then someone's gotta search your book bags and everything else, cause all this stuff, it's just like an airport, you know, when you go through the airport.
Pay your money and
Yeah,
jewelry.
or if you go to like Six Flags and everything.
Hey, when I went to Manual High School back in the 70s, we had an armed security guard at Manual,
They said,
back in the 70s. You know, we had race riots back in the 70s when I went there. You know, we were more protected back then than they are probably
Today.
now up at Manual.
well, they still have guards there, a resource.
But, you know, like if you do the metal detectors, keep in mind that's high school in Alabama. They had a resource officer there, they got the metal detectors and everything else. Thing is, people kinda, they put them in, it worked for a while, and then they got to work, everybody ignored it.
Well, you wonder, okay, maybe that's
So-
the option, do resource officer at both schools, I mean, it might be cheaper than,
That's
all
what
this
I
other
think
stuff.
we should
We do
do,
have
a
that
resource
option.
But
officer.
the
What does that
resource
one do?
officer's not gonna know if they have a knife in their pocket either.
no, no, but I
So-
mean,
I mean, then you're after the fact.
Right.
We could,
I don't know.
we could have a whole nother meeting on safety.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
mean, we just need to think about it.
No, we do.
And
Well,
do
it's
something the
not
state
something that
does.
we haven't been thinking about, that's for sure.
No.
Exactly, because you've like sent emails and
I
discussed
mean,
it
we've
before.
all been chatting about this for a long time
Yeah.
before this horrible thing even came up, so.
Right, and that's why they've had drills before.
Policy, Mr. Giddens, you about ready for another one?
I haven't put, packed together, but I think I wanna do 2 more packets. Get through them in, it should be just about ready.
Okay, you wanna email us with a date, possible date?
I'll send out the packets to everybody, and then you and Savannah let me know
What date's available?
what.
Let's back up for a second on the
Okay.
building and grounds. When they get your last packet of information, Steve, from, whoever's gonna be getting you that last report in or whatever,
On what? The locker room?
not on the
Life
locker
safety?
rooms, on all the safety things that they're gonna be updating for your
The
building.
10-year
Yeah,
health life safety audit?
yeah. When you get that, you should probably set a meeting, okay? Because without that, we don't really know what else is left to do.
Doing pretty good with the checkoff list.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry,
Sorry.
moved right on. Okay, policy, you'll send us the stuff, you'll set the meeting.
Right,
We'll set the meeting.
right.
We're gonna let Mrs. Tyler choose the date. All right. Technology.
We did have a meeting, the minutes will be in your next packet. I don't feel like we reached any conclusions, but Mr. Wendelin is checking on a lot of things for us.
Parent-teacher advisory,
I need to have a meeting,
you
but,
must have a
I
meeting.
know, and I talked to Susie Carter, it's even said, when's our meeting? The parents I asked they're moving
Well,
out
pick
of
a
the
date.
district. And so that, let the principals get the parents?
Sure.
Sorry. You're okay with that?
Try for 2 from each building, you
Let
might
us
get
let
1.
us know when.
I could do, yeah, I could do any time, almost, so. Friday the 13th, April 13th,
Does that
how
work?
does that sound?
Friday the 13th?
Friday?
On a Friday?
Not on a Friday, how about that? These faces.
Yeah.
How
Remember
about-
Thursday the 12th?
How about Thursday the 12th, in the afternoon?
April.
What do you mean by afternoon?
Well, whenever you guys can meet.
After school?
Well, it's the parents are working, that's what I was looking at.
Oh, okay.
2 AM.
Yeah, you're probably looking at 6 o'clock or 5:30.
I was looking at when the parents can meet, but,
Okay.
you know, even if it's like 3:30 or 4.
Thursday the 12th, tentatively.
If that doesn't work, you can email me another date, I'm pretty open.
Mrs. Walton, when do you and the secretaries
Yeah.
and the administrators meet?
12 should work for me.
I'll have to find a replacement for Ms. Carter, but
Or me?
You can't do
We
that?
weren't doing the
I tutor.
handbook anymore
Oh, after
because the
school
parent
now?
advisory committee.
Tuesdays and
does-
Thursdays. Wednesdays work out real well for my
And last year I just had to
world,
go
but,
to the meeting and do it
Yeah.
myself.
I know, okay.
but we're tutoring kids.
So we need to do it at that meeting. That's what that meeting's for,
Okay.
What?
to go over the handbook.
Right, go over the handbook, and she needs to be there. She's the one that makes all the changes and stuff.
So don't do it on Friday.
Thursday the 12th.
Susie just said April, Wednesday, April 11th. would be better for her.
Because she has tutoring.
Just,
Is the 11th good?
Wednesday, the 11th.
Get with them,
Yeah,
pick a date.
Oh, what
Okay.
time?
Mrs. Reagan will decide on the date. Food service. Do you have anything, Mrs. Kelly? On the summer school. We're gonna have to run both kitchens?
if you have Tudor Village, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh.
Correct.
That's why I said 140.
And that's, you know, I just not thought of that. Okay. As long as it's in the budget. All right. Are there any visitors wishing to address the board? Okay, need a motion, Ms. Reagan?
Make a motion to enter executive session for student matters, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, dismissal of specific employees of public body, collective bargaining matters between the public body and exclusive representatives of the certified employees, and the review of executive session minutes from the regular board meeting of February 27, 2018 at 7:47.
Second.
Roll call?
Giddens.
Aye.
Cagle. Catherine Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan. Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. We need a motion to resume regular session.
Make a motion to resume regular session at 9:08. Second.
Giddens,
Aye.
Cagle. Catherine Reagan left the meeting. Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner, aye. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Okay, in executive session, we did discuss personnel. We need a motion to approve resolution.
I make the motion to approve Resolution 1802, resolution of non-reemployment. Whereas the teachers hereinafter set forth are not completing their final year of probationary teaching service during the 2017-2018 school term, and whereas the Board of Education has determined that such teachers shall be dismissed and not reemployed for the 2018-19 school term pursuant to Section 24-11 of the Illinois School Code, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of Creve Coeur School District 76, Caswell County, Illinois, as follows. Section 1, that Teresa Miller shall be dismissed and not be reemployed for the next school term, and accordingly that the present contract of employment shall terminate at the close of the present school term, in conformance with the terms set forth in the notice which is attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit 1. Section 2, that the President and Secretary of the Board of Education are hereby authorized to directed to send each teacher specified above a written notice of this board's decision not to reemploy said teacher by certified mail, return receipt requested at least 45 days before the end of the school term, which notice shall be substantially in the form of the exhibits attached hereto. Section 3, that the superintendent or his designee shall personally deliver a copy of said notice to said teacher. This resolution shall be in full force and in effect forthwith upon its passage. Adopted this 22nd day of March, 2018 by the following roll call vote. I need a second.
Second.
Giddens,
Aye.
Cagle,
Aye.
Val Reagan,
Aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Griner, aye. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding employment of educational assistant.
Make a motion to employ Lori, is it Cahill? Or Kyle, or as educational assistant.
Second.
Roll call.
Giddens,
Aye.
Cagle,
Aye.
Val Reagan,
Aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Griner, aye. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion to employ another educational assistant.
I'll make the motion to employ Sherry Staltenberg as an educational assistant.
Second.
Roll call.
Giddens,
Aye.
Cagle,
Aye.
Val Reagan,
Abstain.
Tyler,
Aye.
Griner, aye. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding drama sponsor.
Make a motion to employ Trevor Beatty as the drama sponsor.
Second.
Giddens,
Aye.
Cagle,
Aye.
Val Reagan,
Aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Griner, aye. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Is there anything we forgot? Make the motion, we adjourn the meeting at 9:10.
Second. Giddens,
Aye.
Cagle,
Aye.
Val Reagan,
Aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Griner, aye. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Meeting adjourned.